Okay, hello, everyone. How are all of you? Hopefully, you're all doing well. And if not, hopefully, we can try and make your day just a little bit better. Or at least that's always my hope. I stream a lot, mainly just to try and make myself feel better, hopefully. It doesn't always happen. A lot of times feel worse. But I try. Because ultimately, that's all you can really do. It's just try. Try over and over and over again. So today, if I can never find what I'm after, cup, rum, Coke. Well, Diet Coke. But we're going to be starting into the Shadowbringers expansion. So let's see here. Taru is itching to share what appears to be good news. Good news, everybody! Good news, Illusion. We've had a stroke of luck in our search for that beacon. Apparently, our colleagues have stumbled across a hidden path leading down into the hollows around the base of the Crystal Tower. A path I doubt we'd have ever found had the Ironworks and the Suns not added their numbers to the party. Thanks to them, we have eager eyes aplenty down there, checking under rocks and peering into every nook and cranny. Still, it sounds like there's a lot of ground to cover. And then we better go give them a hand. The sooner we find this beacon, the sooner you can travel to wherever it is that mysterious voice is coming from. And soon we can work out how to help our friends. We have to find a way to wake them up before the Empire comes calling again, meaning we have no time to lose. There's a boat in North Silvertier waiting to ferry people to the sites. Let's be on our way. There we go. That's looking a little bit better. I looked over and it's just like, it looks like I'm dropping frames. It's like, let's try closing some stuff because my computer sucks. And with this survey site, it's on the eastern shore of the lake, and the swiftest way to get there is by boat. God, that voice sounds horrible. Is that so? Seems like some sort of Ring movie. Night? Looks pretty bright. Well, fuck. Something's wrong then. No, no, no. Hand that wine over. Let's go. Sit down and drink the night away. Well, for being wherever we're at, they use the same measurement systems. No. Good. Maybe. Oh shit. Poor guy. I liked him. He offered us alcohol. She's not appreciative of it. Okay, good, because we've got some questions. Yeah, that's a good place to start. Yes, let us do just that. Excuse me. And here you are. Welcome, my friend, to the Crystarium. Crystal Exarch has a request of you. Now, a full and frank discussion in the privacy of my study would seem to be in order. But I think our conversation would be more meaningful were you first to gain a firmer grasp of the situation here. To that end, I would like you to visit a few of the Crystarium's civic leaders and glean something of this world and its predicament. As you can see, this path will take you directly to the Aetheryte, a convenience with which I am sure you are only all too familiar. Being the rightful object of my summoning spell, you should in theory be able to reach all the way back along your Arthaic trail and find a connection in the source, believe it or not. I strongly suggest you complete this attunement before venturing any further. After you have done so, walk up to the steps next to the Aetheryte and head out to the left to arrive in the crystalline mean. This is where you'll find collectives of crafters and gatherers, as well as the spokeswoman, Catless, one of the people I should like you to meet. Another is Morin. To reach him in his cabinet of curiosity, you'll want to avoid the aforementioned steps and take the exit on the left and simply continue straight along and down until you come to the large doors at the end of the path. The third and final person I should like you to meet is Bragi, our man in charge of trade and distribution. He is to be found in the markets, which you can access from the opposite side of the Aetheryte Plaza. In seeing out each of my colleagues, you will visit the major districts of the city and hopefully gain a feel of the place. I trust my directions were simple enough. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll get lost, and we'll find our way. Aha, very good. I conceded the layout to the Crusader is more to historic necessity than planning, but I'm sure you'll learn its twists and turns before long. No, honestly, the true challenge may be in finding the right way to approach its citizens. As you discovered during your encounter with the captain, the people of this world are unaware of the existence of other stars, and will struggle to accept the truth of your origin. That being the case, when they ask you whence you hail, the inevitably will, I suggest you claim to share a homeland with the Crystal Exarch. There's an unspoken rule here about peering too deeply into that particular mystery. When you finish making the rounds, pray meet me in the large courtyard at the center of town. Until then, okay. Must be above me, I guess. God, I'd love to live in this kind of library. This many books. I mean, I guess in a sense I do, but without all the actual paper thanks to Kindle. Excuse me, miss. Are you recently come to the city? Perchance I'm quite familiar with our civic roles, you see, and well, What I mean to ask is, have you brought any books with you? A rumpled scroll even? A scrap of scribbled on parchment? My apologies, literature is something of an obsession of mine, as well as a profession. Librarian Morin at your service, and this humble collection is known as the Cabinet of Curiosity. As your powers of obsession have likely informed you, my colleagues and I are responsible for curating all manner of tomes, documents, and other vehicles for the written word. As horrific as the loss of life and land wrought by the flood unquestionably was, the damage to recorded knowledge was no less catastrophic. We few do all we can to preserve what wisdom survived. But tell me, what brings you to the cabinet today? Looking for any title in particular? May I have a spot of academic research? Oh, so even interest in modern history. Splendid. A thorough review of recent events can often yield novel perspectives. I quite agree. If you would prefer something visual to accompany the account, then I think I have an illustrated history of book for children somewhere. Just a moment, I'll fetch it for you. And here we are. Would you like to pull up a chair? Make yourself more comfortable? On with the lesson then. Years ago, or near enough not to matter, villains known as the Warriors of Light slew the Shadow Keeper, the Steward of Darkness. In the wake of this tainted deed, light began to pour into the world as if from unseen cracks. It pooled and swelled without cease until the day an enormous blinding wave rose up and swept across our star. We called this calamity the Flood of Light. Everything it touched was leashed of life and vigor, leaving naught behind but a luminous wasteland. Yet, just when it seemed that all would be lost, a savior appeared before us. The Oracle of Light, she stood twixt us and approaching doom, and by her power did she stay the flood. Thus was Norvrant, and Norvrant alone spared the fate of erasure. Tragedy would, however, arrive in another form. From the blasted emptiness descended horrors of strange and terrible aspect, to bedevil the few folk who survived. These senators were light incarnate, and their fulgent presence stole the light from Norvrant's sky. Even now they circle the remaining bastions of civilization, ever on the hunt for us, ever hungering for our flesh. And thus did the world become what it is. Should you ever wish to hear the tale again, I'd be grateful to retell it for you. Or, if you'd rather I speak of other matters, that too would be my pleasure. I should be glad of the company. Like I said, all these books, so long as I had food he brought to me, I would never leave this room probably. Although I do have to admit that although I do rather enjoy reading, I'm there are times when it's like I would very much like to do other things. Near the city, friend, the spinning head and wide eyes give you away. Welcome, my name is Broggy, and I'm the master of these markets. They gave the district another official title, but I'm not in the habit of using it. Too florid by half. In any case, our merchants stock a range of equipment for mistills such as yourself, so finding something in your size shouldn't be a problem. Must be a dialect I'm not familiar with. Let's see if we can straighten this out. See those two in front of us? The shorter one is a Hume, The taller one is an elf. The sturdy individual over there is a Gulgent, whilst the other one with the horns is a Drawn. And then you have the large, scaly chaps with long tails and a knack for raising livestock. Those would be the Zun. Which is apparently not the name you know them by. Now I'm curious to know which far-flung region you hail from. Ah, the same as the Exarch, eh? Well, that explains it. You don't get much further flung than that. We've had a few of your lot pass through in recent years, and despite their obvious learning, they floundered over the simplest things. But not to worry, should you find yourself confused by the local language or customs, I'll be here to answer your questions. Rare to see a place so well stocked with goods, isn't it? But not here. I'm going to guess you're new to our fair city. Well, for what's worth, you've chosen a fine sanctuary. The Exarch can throw up a barrier if the Sin Eaters come knocking, so it's a damn sight safer in here than it is out there. Safer and more civilized, too, thanks to us and the mean. We work together to procure materials and resources and craft the goods which make city life possible. This is a place to visit if you need a coat mended or a kettle forged. Just don't go thinking it'll be handed over to you on a plate like those Yulmoran layabouts here in the Crystarium. We work for a living. Though I see you're no stranger to honest labor, you don't have that whiff of indolence about you like some folk I've met. Still, I can't quite pin down your profession. Where is it you're from? One of the Exarch's countrymen, you say. I see. Well, then I'll work twice as hard to make you feel welcome. Our city wouldn't even exist if it weren't for him, and any friend of his is a friend of ours. It's really quite incredible when you think about it. They say his grand magic summoned the crystal tower into existence, pulled the entire thing out of thin air. It wasn't long before droves of refugees began congregating around its base, desperate for shelter after losing their homes to the flood. And that's how the Crystarium began, as the Exarch's invitation. Buildings started growing up, and with the help of some curious relics brought forth from the tower, the place gradually expanded into the thriving metropolis you see today. The city stood here for decades now, yet the eldest among us swear the Exarch looks exactly the same as he did back then. He is indeed a man of many mysteries, but for all his secrecy, he has never yet let us down. So, if he and you wish to remain silent about your shared homeland, then the folk here will respect your wish for privacy. I am, however, more than a little curious to see any crafting talent you might be hiding. If you've ought to contribute on the front, be sure to come back and visit once you've had a chance to settle in. Just ask for Catless and I'll find you a niche here in the crystalline mean. You can help us keep the cogs of the city greased and turning. Well, how did you fare? Did my colleagues help you form a clearer picture of this world and its people? Yes, it seems you were treated to a most thorough introduction. I understand it was something of more of a chore, but 'twas necessary that grasp these things before we proceed. As for the Crystal Tower's origins, you may have noted that details were sparse. The structure is, in fact, the self-same one you know from the source, transported to the first in its entirety. It was my first attempt at breaching the boundaries between worlds, something of a trial run for your eventual crossing. And although I do not know which era I tore it from, I do know that its arrival served to set the wheels of fate in motion. Crystal Exarch is finally ready to discuss the matters of your comrade's whereabouts. You've done as I requested and learned something of the world in which you find yourself. Now it's time I fulfilled my half of the bargain and explained what has befallen your comrades. That is a conversation I'd rather have in private of my quarters. However, I must go on ahead to the tower and organize a few things, but I shall see the guard knows to admit you. Well, yes, of course, it can be open and closed just like any other. Does that seem strange to you? I know not how the tower functioned in your time, but I assure you, there is no danger of us being locked inside. Greetings, the Exarch awaits you within. I can think of a few ways you could take them back. Well, I don't really have much of a choice, it sounds like. The Quasterium boasts a number of residential districts, but I have been informed that a room has just become available at the Pendants. Which, as it turns out, is perfect. Our path there will take us past the markets, and I'm going to give you my own introduction to the wares. Come along. Oh, God. That's usually not good to do. Yep. Beautiful branch and adorable sapling. Okay. This is kind of rather beautiful area. I wish I had a better computer to actually view it in. But one day, the dreams we have. Ah, there you are. I was just finalizing the matter of your accommodations. You'll have a private room here at the Pendants for the duration of your stay to make use of as you see fit. When you are ready to retire, the manager will show you to your lodgings. Pray, rest, and recuperate, and we shall reconvene in the ocular anon. I believe that covers all the practical concerns. Thank you for answering my call. We are denied the comforting blanket of night, but may peaceful dreams attend you nonetheless. Certainly be nice. A pleasure to meet you, miss, and welcome to your new home at the Pendants. Your room is ready if you'd care to retire. I'm not very good at doing voices, but I do occasionally try. It's kind of a neat view. Yes, me. Yep. Apparently. Hundred-ish years. Apparently. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm right here. Might as well mend everything I got. There we go. I think there's a couple of eighth or eighths here that I need to. Hmm. Some sort of laser or some sort of field generator. Grab this one and then should give us everywhere here. The exarch awaits you within. You will visit Alphino and Calusia then. Excellent. As I mentioned, your destination is an island off the west coast, so you'll need a mount capable of making the journey. Here is a letter of introduction. Present it to Zems Genmai, the master of beasts at Timonos Rookery, and he will take care of you. When you see Alphino, be sure to pass on my warmest regards. We'll just do one set at a time here. So we'll go look for Alphino, and then we'll do the next one. Your face is unknown to me. What business have you at my rookery? Signed by the Exarch, no less. Yes, I can provide you with an amaro for passage to Calusia. I'll pick you out a friendly whelp. A chocobo, do you hail from one of Norvrant's more isolated settlements, perchance? I hear there are a few places where they ride little else. But here in the Crystarium, mounts like that gray fellow there are far more commonly used. Seeing as you are plainly unaccustomed to riding a Maru, I think it best I accompany you on this flight myself. Any son worthy of the name could do it, of course, but the Exarch sent you to me. Ensuring you arrive safely is my responsibility. Gather things and meet me at the Maru launch. One of the junior tamers will attend to you while I ready the mounts. Just would bug me if I didn't. You want to fly in a Maru to Calusia? Well, I suppose Master Jinmai is going with you. Wait here, please. The master should be along with the mounts shortly. We are arrived. This is Cracked Shell Beach. On the eastern coast of Calusia, you should be safe here for the present. Compared to the mainland, Sun Eater attacks are far less prevalent, and the native beasts are not any more dangerous than elsewhere. It is the people you should be wary of. Saw you that city in the distance? That is Yulmore, the island's main settlement. It rivals the Crystarium in scale and was once an ally in our battle against the abominations. For years, the Yulmoran elite have fancied themselves the masters of what remains of our broken world. They have gone as far as to offer the leaders of our other settlements their protection, if we bend the knee. But to say their ideals are questionable would be putting it mildly. The Crystarium is one among many who resist their heavy-handed authority, and while we are not at war, our relationship with Yulmore is strained at best. It may be wise to conceal your ties with the Exarch during your stay here, especially in the vicinity of the city. I am glad we understand each other. Now, the Exarch has instructed me to divulge a secret that should make finding your friend a good deal easier. Listen closely. If you head south along the coast, you'll eventually come to a fisherman's shack. A friend of the Crystarium lives there, a man who goes by the name of Ivor. Ivor keeps an eye on everything that happens in Calusia, and will be able to point you in the right direction. Just hand him a sprig of thyme that will let him know you can be trusted. Here, this should be enough. Find your friend, and I will stay here with the Morrow until you are ready to return. That's kind of my thing, guy. Buddy, I don't want to fight you either. I'm just as scared. Well, you after fish crab think I've got Neo in a barrel somewhere if you've a taste for him. Oh, I do love a bit of thyme. Chuck some in the pan and it's like a bloody festival of flavor. Now, what is it I can do for you? Can't say as there's been any major upsets to report these past few weeks. Alfno, I know the one. Our young champion of the downtrodden. Gilmore's richer than all of Norvront put together, but it's a different story for them as live outside the city. Most spend every waking moment just trying to stay alive, which makes your friend's dedication to helping others stand out all the more. I can hazard a guess as to where he is now. Get a message to him, but you'll need somewhere quiet to meet, away from prying eyes. Make for Stilltide. That's a fishing village just up the path here. You're looking for a rundown excuse for a tavern the locals call the Leaky Keel. Wait there, and I'll see that Alphino joins you. I don't know why I'm so tired. So it's a hole in the wall. Quite literally a hole in the wall. Although, I've been to some hole in wall bars, and some of them were actually pretty nice. Some have been really horrible, too. This your first time in a tavern? It's customary to buy a drink if you mean to loiter. What will you be having? A fine choice. And what will you be paying with? Oh no, those are exotic. Where did you come by coins like that? Sorry, dear, I don't doubt they have value, but I don't have a touchstone to test their purity. I'm not about to go begging for one from the neighbors. So just have to come along to some other arrangement. Ah, here's an idea. There's a common to the north where we grow our vegetables, but lately the pests have been eating more of them than we have. What do you say to a bit of extermination work? I want you to squash any vermin you find, then visit the caretaker and give him an earful from me for sleeping on the job. He'll be in the old silo next to the fence, snoring like as not. Do that for me, and you can laze about here as long as you like. Who wants to bet that the so-called groundskeeper or whatever is Alphino, and he is snoring somewhere, being lazy and useless like normal? I mean, usually he's not lazy. He's just, well, useless. That's some actually pretty cool battle music. There. Vermin exterminated. Didn't sound any harder. No one's home. Welcome back, dear. What did that good for nothing caretaker have to say for himself? Wasn't there. Gone. Must have left to join the rest of the hopefuls. In Gate Town, outside Yulmore, you don't have a clue what I'm talking about, do you? And there I was thinking you were another dreamer. Well, never mind all that. Take a seat wherever you like, dear. You've more than earned it. I'll even throw in another drink on the house. Say, ever doing that kind of work for you, I'm owed like an entire day's worth of drinking. So we found Alphino. Okay. Alvin is ready to take to the road once more. Assuming you have no objections, let's make our way directly to the city outskirts. If we time our arrival just right, we may be lucky enough to see why I have yet to set foot in Yulmore, despite my best efforts to do so. Come, from here we must head west and then cross a small bridge. Calusia seems peaceful, does it not? Almost familiar. I had a similar impression with Crystarium. Even in this distant world, people are much the same. Sigh, to think that whenever a calamity struck the source, a reflection such as this one, with all its culture and history, was being erased from existence. Oh, get away from me! Over there! Quickly, someone's in trouble. It's a giant lizard, or, well, technically I think that'd be a chameleon with the general look of it. My poor heart, thank you, young miss. Ah, there you are. In my haste, I lost my bearings. But I see you have the situation well in hand. Fine work. Are you all right, madam? Just a few bruises from where I fell, nothing compared to what was in store for me before this brave soul came to my rescue. Honestly, though, thought I was done for. My feet are not as swift as they once were, and I knew there was no one left to hear me scream. Not that I let that stop me. I should probably leave my old house behind and queue up outside Yulmore with the rest of them. Doubt those fancy lords and ladies would welcome an old crone like me. Still, even a shack near the gate has to be safer than staying here. One would hope. Either way, I suggest you avoid wandering alone, lest you make the Sin Eater's task any easier. Thank you again. You saved my life. Now I'm sure a strapping lass like you has little fear. But I wouldn't linger long in this place. There are not to be had here but cobwebs and memories. 'Tis as the lady says, many in these parts have abandoned their homes to live in Yulmore's shadow. Should the Sin Eaters descend upon this region, there are precious few with the strength to fight them off. A brief history then. 'Twas not long after the flood swallowed the better part of the world that sin eaters first appeared. Some beastly, some beauteous. Yet, regardless of their form, all seem incapable of speech, and all are driven by the same insatiable appetite for mortal ether. They are predators, and we are their prey. Calusia suffers from far fewer attacks in most regions, but even so, the list of the Sin Eater's victims grows longer by the day. A tragedy without end. Still, we have won a small victory this time, at least. Now, shall we press on? We need to return to where the road forks and follow the path that leads west. Sure you were. Sure you were. And what if I don't want to give said attention? odd. I don't blame you on that. Now you understand why my attempts to enter the city have thus far come to naught. The dubious privilege of residency must be won via contest with ever-changing rules. They say this policy has been in place for the past 2 decades, ever since Yulmar's current ruler came into power. Yet from what I've seen, it does more harm than good. Not only does it distract people from our shared struggle against the Sin Eaters, it robs them of their self-sufficiency. I've tried to propose ways they could improve their lot, but my words invariably fall on deaf ears. The attitude is so entrenched now, I worry that, well, mayhap you should take a turn around Gate Town and judge the situation for yourself. I don't know. This area looks almost like something I'd expect to find in Dark Souls 3. Just look at it. Can you imagine a more beautiful city? Every day I dream of the life that waits for me inside those walls. Oh, will they ever pick me? No, probably not. Still here, are you? Can't blame you for wanting a slice of Yormore's pie. If you ask me, you should ditch that sour-faced brat and make a home for yourself here. Gate Town's not much to look at, aye, but at least it's safe, and the mule is the best thing I've ever tasted. You've seen what Gate Town has to offer. These people no longer fend for themselves. They've become dependent on handouts of mule and believe Yulmore is the answer to all their woes. Yet no matter how I frame my encouragement, they seem unwilling, nay, unable to conceive of any other way of life. It's difficult to make a final judgment without first seeing the city's inner workings. Mayhap it is that uncertainty which always makes me feel so ill at ease here. Not that it matters, however unjust the system seems to me. These people claim to be content with their lot. It is hardly my place to criticize their choices. But I take that elderly lady you rescued. Does it not seem that those who have chosen to forego Yulmore's largesse are doomed to suffer for their independence? In the end, they are all but forced to seek refuge in Gate Town, and so hamlets and fields across the island are left empty and untended. hastening the region's descent into ruin. Nay, I am not convinced that Yomor's generosity truly serves the best interests of Calusia's people. I am not so naive to think there is some miraculous solution to all of this. Yet I cannot help but frown at the sight of hard-working villagers struggling to survive, even as the chosen few rejoice at being plucked from from poverty. There has to be a better way. I will not know for sure, however, until I have taken those long-delayed steps through Yulmor's gates. 'Tis fortunate that you arrived when you did. I have been working on a scheme to insinuate myself into the city, and if all goes to plan, it should soon come to fruition. There's a beast tribe who makes its home in the sea surrounding the island, the Ondo. They are called, though you and I know them as Hagen. For the most part, they keep to themselves in their ocean grottos and rarely have dealings with land dwellers. But as Taro took such great pains to impress upon me during our stay in Kugane, business favors the bold, and so I reached out to them. I duly discovered that the Ondo are inordinately fond of land-grown produce, fresh fruits in particular, and when I offered to procure such goods for them, they promised to pay me in pearls. An attractive business venture for any prospective investor, would you not agree? Surely even the most jaded Yulmoran lord would have time for a merchant who can make pearls from plums and pumpkins. Yes, I've come a long way since my days of buying samurai swords without first negotiating a price. My appointment with the Ondo is due to take place in a few hours. I just need to collect the produce and meet with them on the shore. Might you help me make the exchange? Excellent, I should be glad of your company. First things first, then, we must pay a visit to Mosha Moa, my supplier in right. Come, it's just to the northwest of here. Just a moment here. Okay, I'm back. Thank you for waiting. Is there something else I can do for you, friend? Good day to you, Moshamoa. This is my associate. We're here to collect the produce I purchased. I loaded your lackey up with the goods not long ago. My lackey? I know of no such person. Miss Still lad, short blue hair, no? He said he'd come on your behalf, and since he seemed to know all the details, I just assumed. And felt its must have been eavesdropping on our conversation. If this charlatan was not here not long ago, he cannot have gone far. We should split up and search the area. You find a vantage point on the south side of the town, and I shall take the west. It is nice to finally be getting closer to the end of all the MSQ stuff. Yeah. Any sign of him? You have a keen eye. Let us move in before he makes good his escape. Probably not. Well, if they need help, let's go help them. I think I forgot to do that eighth rate up there. That should take care of the worst of his injuries. Mercy, mercy, I beg you. Breathe easy, sir. No harm will come to you. The poor man is shivering. Pray keep an eye on him while I get a fire going. I thought for certain I was dead. How am I ever to repay this kindness? We'll settle for the tale behind your current predicament. Why don't you go begin by telling us your name? Tristel, I was invited into Yulmore to work as an artist. A wealthy couple took me in to paint pictures for them, but when my style proved contrary to their taste, they just as quickly turfed me out into the street. I was left penniless and patronless, a grave sin in Lord Vothry's city. Within days they had brought me before the man himself, and he asked me what I meant to do. Dejected as I was, I told him that I wished to leave. Little did I know how soon he would grant me my wish. They flung me over the balustrade into the God's damned ocean. From up there, how were you not dashed to pieces? Don't ask me, luck, I suppose. Though if you hadn't found me when you did, it wouldn't have counted for much. Monstrous, and the citizens condone such barbaric punishment. Oh, without second thought, when Lord Vothry passes judgment, no one so much as blinks, let alone argues. And Yomor, his word is law. Huh. I don't know necessarily why anything popped up. I'm not getting in my feed in Streamlabs or in the thing. Huh. No idea. Oh well. You'll have that. The more I hear about Yomor, the more determined I am to see what waits within its walls. I shall bend all my thoughts towards securing another way into the city. There must be something we can do. But first, we should convey Tristol to the shelter of the village. Fire or no fire, he needs to be out of this chilly coastal air. A way into the city? Actually, no, there's one more thing that I can think of that might possibly have caused that to go off. Um, nope, not that either. No idea then. For I accept my deepest gratitude. You both my life. And if you'll permit me, would assist you in your attempt to enter Yulmore, insofar as I am able, at any rate. To be frank, the thought of sending my saviors into that awful place makes me sick to the stomach. But since it's plain you've set your minds on it, you should take this. It's my favorite paintbrush. The Yumoran elites are never satisfied until they get exactly what they want. And if I'm not mistaken, the couple I mentioned will be looking for someone to replace me. If you make a show of owning such a well-used brush, you may be able to convince people you have a talent for painting. I wish I had a talent for painting. Are you certain this is your livelihood? We cannot deprive you of such a treasured possession. I give it gladly after all you've done for me. Besides, I don't think I have the heart to paint anymore. As to what I'll do instead, I honestly haven't decided. But I shan't stay long in this place, not with the city brooding over me. Nay, I'll move on to new lands and a new profession, and I'll keep you in my prayers from now on until my dying day. They say kindness is its own reward, but Crystal has repaid us with a gift as timely as it was unexpected. We will, however, need to act upon his advice before another painter steps in to fill the vacancy. Thankfully, I do have some modest skill with a brush. Nothing approaching that of a true artist, of course, but enough to play the role, I would hope. As for you, well, if you don't mind taking a subordinate role, maybe you could pose as my assistant? Then it's settled. All we need now is return to Gate Town and await the next appearance of those vile jesters. Oh wait, where am I going? Not the right way. That's the answer. Nope, still wrong way. Here they come. Ladies and gentlemen, your attention once more. What a day it's been for the folks at our door. We've welcomed a peddler who made pearls from a plum, and now we've a place for a painter of a plum. So come along and don't be slow. It's time to let your colors show. I can paint portraits at least. Landscapes and still are so rarely commissioned these days. I thought I spied some new faces in the crowd. What fortune that you should feel at ease around an easel. What proof have you of your prowess? Any masterpiece on your person? Sadly not. Everything I paint is soon sold. Such is the life of a working artist. I have only my brush to testify for me, though you will note that it has seen no small amount of service. Ho ho ho, flecks of paint both old and new. A tool much loved and much used. Not a prop to be conjured on the hop. Very well, come with us and we'll put those talents to the test. And who is this hanger on, well-wisher or parasite? Why, this is my assistant, she whose unfailing support allows my art to flourish. I will go with her or not at all. Parasite, then, we shall leave her fate in the hands of your new employer. It matters not a whit to us. And having filled our latest vacant spot, we retire to Yulemore's sweet embrace. Oh, mercy me, the mule. We almost took our leave without leaving a loving token. We must empty the sacks ere we make our way back. Welcome, welcome to the City of Final Pleasures. Feel free to weep at its magnificent snow. Not even a single tear? Moving right along then. Our first task is to register you as residents, make it all nice and official. We'll smooth the way, so you just need to put on your happy faces and head through to Joyous Hall. The Bureau of Immigration is in the first room on the left side of the passage. Declare your name and occupation in a nice loud voice. The clerks will tell you where to go from there. Oh, and pay no mind to those folks off to the side of the road. Much like the hopefuls in Gatetown, they haven't earned the right to enter the city proper. If, however, you enjoy basking in the envy of your fellow man, then by all means take your time. But why waste another moment? Go, enjoy the beginning of your new life in paradise. The Bureau of Immigration, was it? I suppose we had better show ourselves willing for the time being. Oh, there for a moment, it's like, that's a big ass door. It should be. Nope. The door don't open. Welcome to you, more fortunate friends. May I have your names? Ah, yes, I was informed of your imminent arrival. We can forgo the usual interviews and begin processing your registration papers forthwith. Now, the citizens of Yulmore are divided into two classes. There are the free, who are blessed with the favor of Lord Vothry, and the bonded, who work in the employ of the free. You will be joining the ranks of the bonded. Your duties are to serve a patron in the capacity for which you are chosen. In your case, painting pretty pictures. Should your patron dismiss you for any reason, you must find another sponsor among the free, or accept work as a general laborer. I see. And might you tell us something of the patron we are to serve? The two patrons, actually, Chai Nuz and Dulia Chai, a mystical couple who most refer to as the Chais. They are both gentle souls, but I would ask that you conduct yourself with respect and humility for your own sake as much as theirs. Now a moment, please, while I complete the relevant paperwork. All in order. These are your registration documents. Take these papers next door and submit them to the clerk. Once they've been stamped, you will officially be Umoran citizens. Enjoy your new life in paradise. Welcome to the Bureau of Registration Papers, please. What have we here? Alphino, artist, Lucian, artist assistant, to be employed in the service of Lord Chai Nuz and Lady Dulia Chai. Yes, everything seems to be in order. Your registration is hereby approved. I think it best that we deliver you to the Chai residence before. Oh dear. You smell hideous. Did you crawl here through a ditch? It's like an unholy miasma of dust and sweat and musk of some unwashed beast. Proceed directly to the delousery next door and scrub yourselves clean. Use whichever showers are free. After you've rinsed away that stench, you'll want to splash yourselves with this perfume liberally. Once you've made yourself presentable, then you may proceed to the Chai residence. Cornin, the guard by the stairs, will give you directions. I don't much care for this place. I didn't realize we were so aromatic. Oh, you've showered and dressed already, have you? Is it not that to say it seems rather exposed for one's ablutions, does it not? When she jests very well, I should endeavor to emulate her boldness then. Courage, Alphino. Yeah, quit being lazy and useless and go do the things so that we can get on with this, Alphino. Well, that was bracing. I believe the lingering smells of the road have been successfully expunged. Shall we go and present ourselves to our new patrons then? No, because it doesn't appear like it's. You're looking to present yourselves to the Chais, are you? Let me explain how the city's laid out then. Imagine three layers, one on top of the other. This layer here is called the buttress. Above us is the understory, where the military has its headquarters, and above that you've got the canopy, which is where the free citizens of Yulmore spend their days. So if you want to find your new patrons, you'll need to keep climbing until you run out of stairs. Then look for the Great Dame's parlor. They'll be in there, like as not. headset's complaining. Okay, okay. Alphino would send you into the city to explore. Now you've the opportunity to experience Yulmore. I suggest you make the most of it. Explore the city, top to bottom. In other words, I'd start with the canopy and go from there. Try wandering around the market stalls, mayhap. Such places are usually filled with colorful characters, only too eager to share local gossip with a friendly visitor. I would appreciate, of course, if you could share any discoveries with me in return. We should both learn as much as possible about our new place of residence. Oh, there, fresh register, are we? You seem a little lost. Well, it is lovely to make your acquaintance. Speaking of acquaintances, you wouldn't happen to have run into my attendant on your wanderings, would you? Big, strong lad, long hair, tied back. He was escorting me on a shopping errand when I realized I'd dropped my handkerchief, and now I've been waiting here all alone while he's been off searching for it. I'm not terribly fond of being alone. If you do see him, I'd be pleased if you could pass on this message. Forget the silly handkerchief and return to my side at once. Why am I guessing he jumped to try and get it? And Wicked White, that was too close. Thank you, friend. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't come along. I was trying to rescue my lady's handkerchief, you see. The wind must have blown it over the edge, but luckily it caught on something. I thought if I could just stretch out far enough. Risk your life for a scrap of cloth? It's not just a scrap of cloth, not if it belongs to her. I'd risk my life and more to spare my mistress but a single moment of sadness. When I first came to Yormore, I thought only of improving my lot in life. But there is so much more to this city than wealth and plenty. There is no war here, no conflict. The residents all treat each other with warmth and respect. My mistress has been ever so kind to me. And I think of no other place in Calusia where I could possibly be happier. Sorry, I might have gotten a bit carried away. I find it hard to stop when I start counting my blessings these days. Please, you should come with me to meet my lady. Once she hears of your deed, you'll be witness to her generosity firsthand. What? Lonely, you say? Curse my clumsy feet, I must return to her immediately. My attendant told me everything. I am so very grateful you were there to offer your assistance. As if you remember my own family, I could not live the wonderful life I lead without him. We free citizens owe the bond of our unending gratitude. Mayhap in another society, our different standing would breed prejudice or resentment, but in Yulmore, a most glorious measure is in place to avert such unpleasantness. Part of that measure requires that the free surrender their fortunes upon registration. All of our property, financial, intellectual, or otherwise, is given over to the city. In exchange, we are provided with ample funds and commodities to live a life of pampered luxury. Being liberated from the concerns of earning coin has an almost miraculous effect on people's outlook. There are no rivals to competing against, only fellow residents with whom to enjoy our tranquil existence. No, if you'll excuse us, I must see what the markets have to offer as a reward for the return of my handkerchief. Oh, and I've not forgotten you, of course, our courageous messenger turned rescuer. Yeah, uh-huh. You seem a little nuts, maybe might be the word. The amiable maiden appears suddenly concerned. All this talk of relying on the bond, and haven't given a thought as to what your duties might be. I hope I haven't interrupted your work unduly. A tour of the city, is it? Then you must really visit the beehive. It's always buzzing with activity. Local humor. Anyway, a lady by the name of Tista B usually has her seat under the entrance. She'll gladly speak with you on any number of topics, assuming you find yourself on her good side. I don't know, this place very much reminds me of Snowpiercer. Welcome to the Beehive, my little drone, seeking the sting of excitement to liven up your day. I can tell at a glance when folk are new to our happy colony. It's the nervous fluttering you see, always gives them away. Why don't we play some cards to set you at ease? A quick game of high-low? It's simply a matter of guessing who has the bigger hand. If you win, I'll grant you a single favor, within reason, of course. Interested? Ready for a game of high-low, then? Good for you, no time like the present, I say. Three cards for you, three cards for me. You flip one of yours, and I flip two of mine. Eight, nine, nine. High. A total of 19. Congratulations, your guess was right. Usually I'd concede defeat at this point, but what do you say to a rematch? One more win, then we'll talk about that favor. Don't have a choice, do I? Another match of high-low? Come now, little honeybee. We all need our diversions. Three cards for you, three cards for me. You flip one of yours, and I flip two of mine. Already, I'm significantly lower. Don't know if it's scripted out that way, but... Well, would you look at that? I think you've got a knack for this. Congratulations, victory is yours, as is the prize I promised. Come whisper in my ear then, don't be shy. Tell old Tista what she can do for you. That's all, how delightfully wholesome. But if knowledge is what you want, then that is what you shall have. In my humble estimation, the most wondrous thing about this town is how safe we are from the Sin Eaters. They say Lord Vothry was born with the power to command them, which means no Yomoran need ever raise a weapon in defense of the city. Was that the kind of thing you wish to know? If your itch still needs scratching, you might get a few words out of a Tharn over there. There's not that Mary likes more than the sound of his own voice. What's that new to Yulmore, you say? Only just arrived and already you're looking to peel away the layers of mystery. Oh, I'm all for chatting, but you need to slow down and enjoy life, my friend. I tell you what, you hop up on the stage and give us a dance first, and then we can have our little talk. That's the way, dance like there's no tomorrow. Now, that was a show. You're welcome to clamber up on stage any time you like. So what was it you wanted to ask me? Oh, yes, something about our fair city. Well, I can tell you it wasn't always so peaceful as it is today. The Umoran army may be the very essence of military might, but even our forces saw grievous losses in the war against the Sin Eaters. Things changed for us, around 20 years ago now, when the old ruler's son came to power. He's got his way with the Eaters, you see. Turns them docile as house cats. I wouldn't be exaggerating to say they've become something of an ally to Umor, no longer an enemy to be feared. And yet, elsewhere, there are still fools who insist on fighting their losing battle. A toast to Lord Vothry. I don't know, I'd be a little worried about that. Oh, you've returned from your jaunt around the city so soon? You need to have hurried back. Young Alphno has yet to put brush to canvas. One cannot rush good art, I'm told, or good artists, apparently. Ah, finally. I've put together an ensemble out of the garments you chose. Is this satisfactory? Oh, goodness gracious me. That louse outfit was precious, but this makes you look positively dashing. You truly are a handsome boy, however am I to decide? Exactly. This house is an artist here. It's not dress-up doll. It's about time we set him to work for the reason we called him here. Must be, I do love a good painting, but I thought since we were enjoying ourselves so thoroughly. Well, I'm not, that is to say, as long as you... Just make sure you give the lad time to prepare. We know who'll be upset if he's not ready to paint at a moment's notice. Whatever you say, darling. So shall we pick out some jewelry next? We got another level for Reaper here. Hey, Ellie, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Or no, that was a gift sub to Nine-Tailed Slayer. Let's, since we're not doing anything at the moment, let's draw a card for that to put in the scrapbook. Hey, Ellie. Thank you for coming by and saying hi. Cold Attitude Rin from Fate Stay Night. So what about it, huh? That's the flavor text on the card. How you feeling, Ellie? I heard about what happened, and hopefully you're doing all right. Lady Chai has a very particular sense of beauty, and apparently that extends to how I should dress whilst painting. But this obsession of hers is in our favor. The time I spend indulging these distractions is time you use to continue our explorations. For this excursion, I'd like you to delve into the layer below us and sniff about the military headquarters. I'm sure the understory has its own tale to tell. Head hurts? Well, hopefully you feel better and such. Yeah, I saw that in Discord. Did I come too far down? Yeah, I came too far down. Yes, I went way too far down. So there's a middle layer here. But yeah, you should probably manage to teach her and get her clear in 4 lockouts. As I'm not really sure what lockouts are. Congratulations. Oh, the time limit you have going in? Okay. You're one of the bonded, aren't you? Like me? Please, I need your help. My throat. I can't sing anymore. I've been making excuses, but it's just not getting any better. If my patron thinks I'm of no use to him, then I need you to sneak out to the derelicts and describe my condition to Thoric. Here's a list of symptoms and a hunk of meal to pay for his medicines. Please, I have no one else to turn to. Or fourth time in, basically. I mean, I'd say that's probably pretty good. What, lockouts 90 minutes? Well, at least I know in some items it's 90 minutes. Some things it's only 60 minutes. So I mean, 4 to 6 hours, somewhere in there. I mean, I'd say that's pretty good. Oh, so it's only half-hour lockout then? Oh, can't think of anything that's only a half-hour timer. It's kind of odd. But yeah, I'd still say that's pretty good. That's a 2-hour lockout. So 8 hours then is what it took. Not as good, but I mean, still pretty not too bad. 6.5 hours to learn Savage from scratch is pretty damn good. Well, I mean, on the plus side, you've got several people who are also experienced with it already, and so it's just one person. I mean, give or take a few things. I mean, you don't have to have that new person hitting as hard as since you've already got all these all experienced people. You need medicines, tonics, potions, especially when a lot of it is do it right or kill everyone. A cure for an ailing voice, is it? No, no medicine will cure this. Methinks your songbird has a lump in her throat. It must be cut out, excised, and even then the voice may never heal completely. You're a poor little songbird. Will they kick her out from the nest, or I wonder, or simply silence her chirps? Your face, you didn't know? Of the many hopefuls who enter the city, very few are ever seen to leave, even as corpses. Oh, you might see one or two fortunate fools hurled from the balconies, but the rest? Gone. A town of nightmares it is. Not for this ship's rat. Oh, no, no. I am content to scurry around down here and nibble on the crumbs which fall from the table. The consultation is over. You have my verdict, and I have my mule. Good day. That's the big thing. Even if you're not experienced, you still have to do it right or you cause wipes. That is the one thing if I ever did do any kind of savage rating, that's just like my ability to pay attention. Um, I fear I would just not be able to do things right. I mean, let alone actually learning the classes and actually being able to play them well. I mean, that's why it's pretty cool watching you guys do it and be like, you guys are awesome. I mean, granted, where I have pretty much most of my rating experience was and Lotro and Destiny 2, which are both very different from Final Fantasy 14 rating. Which Lotro is the mechanics aren't so much individual based. It's a matter of the entire team going over and doing this thing and that thing to cause specific things to happen in the boss arena, and basically DPS checks. Not so much avoiding anything or not, but and then Destiny, there's only a few. I can only think of a few raid mechanics where where if a single person doesn't follow through, uh, it's going to be a wipe for the entire team. Did you get my medicine? P4S has a lot of personal responsibility. So that's it. What am I to do if I can't sing? Ah, there you are, my sweet canary. Have you been crying again? Don't tell me your voice is still not on the mend. Oh, generous sir, have mercy. I've done all I can, but even the apothecary said. So you've been suffering all this time. I'm sorry, my pet. I hadn't realized your affliction was this grave. But you needn't fret. I'll not reward your hours of trilling by casting you out into the street. You are too kind, sir. But what use am I if I cannot sing? I fear the day I become more burden to you than treasure. Now I shall have a word with Lord Vathry and arrange for your ascension. In that paradise where resides neither pain nor illness, would your song ring out clearly once again? Or maybe you think it a step too far? No, you would do that for me? Of course. Why would I would almost wish to hasten my own ascension, knowing your blessed instrument was waiting there to greet me. Ascension. Ah, you must be a new arrival. Allow me to explain. As all know, the sinners exist to devour the sinful, but also do they serve to gather the souls of the innocent and shepherd them unto a celestial paradise. It is there through Lord Vothry that we learned this truth. It is through Lord It is through Lord Vothry's grace that the free people of Yulmar are destined to embrace salvation. New Ultimate even caught you off guard with "Holy fuck, that's fast," and had to adjust. Okay, go rest, Ellie. We're blessed to spend our days surrounded by love and merriment until at last we are called to our final rapture. Even the bonded may find peace within that host, should their patrons deem them worthy. Lord Vothry truly is a great man, isn't he? Now, if you'll excuse us, we must be on our way. May you find eternal salvation for the compassion you have shown my precious canary. Okay. 'Tis good to see you back. You were taking so long I began to worry something had happened. I've begun sketching an outline for the portrait, but nay, the chais appear otherwise occupied. Will you share what your investigations have gleaned thus far? So, Lord Vothery boasts some manner of influence over the Senators, does he? That would explain the reverence in which he is held by the citizenry. And as for this Ascension business, I can help but be put in mind of that apothecary and his ominous remarks. If so many folk have entered the city over the years, then where do they go? I take my eye off you for one moment and you're chattering away with that assistant of yours. And am I to assume the outline is done then? What in the blazes? It's so unflattering. Explain yourself, Alphino. Where's your artistic interpretation? It should invoke images of affluence and nobility, and overwhelm the viewer with its boundless beauty. Lord Chai, you say that this portrait was to commemorate your anniversary, yours being a joyous union. It seemed to me that a realistic portrayal. Realistic? I don't want realism, I want perfection. A spectacle to slacken the jaws and weaken knees, to make people cry out in amazement. Now fetch a blank canvas and... Ah! I say, did that come from above? Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. A tale to make you quiver and your noble blood freeze. There was a villain on the loose set to ruin our fair city. But our Lord has got him now, and his fate will not be pretty. Yes, the hammer of justice is poised to come crashing down, and one and all who'd watch it fall are invited to join his lordship in the offer. A malcontent? How dreadful. And this man is to face sentencing? That's right. In fact, if you're curious, it might be worth you going along for the experience. The offer they mention is part of the emergent. The level above us is where Lord Vothery resides. Ordinarily, you would be barred from entering, but it seems they'll be opening its doors for the next little while. The crown lift will take you up there. We had better not dawdle then. Joining the crowd up there. Guy's delusional. This guy's a little nuts. And I'm going to say, go fuck yourself. Took you long enough. Forgive me, in my anger I seem to have marched us back outside again. It's probably best we leave the island altogether. I believe we've worn out our welcome in Yulmore. In any case, I've seen enough of the world's self-proclaimed capital city to convince me that our battle against the Sin Eaters will find few allies in Calusia. I will accompany you back to the Crystarium. We need to regroup and think on our strategy anew. Kaishir, I have done you a grave disservice. You were hungry and desperate, and I offered you a solution without once considering the risks inherent in you accepting it. If I had but known the price he would be made to pay. You gave me everything I need to make your idea work. It was me who made a mess of things, not you. Even after all the trouble I caused, you still stepped in and saved me, but now Lord Vothry wants us all dead. Why not come back with us to the Crystarium? I am certain we can find work for you there if you are willing. No, that'd just be me leaning on your kindness again. I need to do some thinking. Learn how to stand on my own 2 feet. Very well, but you must promise you'll be careful. The Umorans may yet come looking for us. I'll keep my head down, don't worry, and you take care too. Give me the chance to repay what you've done for me. Alphino? Lord and Lady Chai? What in the blazes did you do? They have the entire city out looking for you. I took a peek at your unfinished portrait, Alphino. Now, I've had many a beautiful and striking pictures painted for me, but there was something about your work. It was as if you had caught the very essence of our love and rendered it naked upon the canvas. It was bold, unflinching, and I adored it. Please, you must come back with us and finish what you began. I will speak with Lord Vothry and vouch for your character. I'm sure we can smooth over any hard feelings. I am sorry, Lady Chai. There are more important matters to which I must attend. More important? What could be more important than enjoying the days we have left to us to the fullest? I don't know. Maybe stopping such a thing? Pray, press me no further. We are leaving, but I would not presume to take the garments you were so kind as to procure me. For me, one moment. I wouldn't hear of it. Keep the clothes, you silly boy. I insist. And I shall make arrangements so that you can pass through the gate without causing a stir. I expect you to come and visit. I will return, I promise you that. The outrage I've witnessed must not go unanswered. The next time we meet, I shall be better prepared to confront the corruption which hides behind the glittering facade. Or facade, I should say, actually. Thank you, my friend, for staying at my side through this whole sordid endeavor. While it's not quite the joyous outcome I'd hoped for, our efforts have nevertheless answered a great many questions. Suffice it to say, our plans for saving the first are unlikely to involve the aid of Lord Vothry and his subjects. Come, we must speak with the Exarch and chart a new course. This is far from over. Ah, it's good to be back amongst friends in such company. I can finally turn my thoughts to the future. But ere we discuss all we have learned and begin planning our next step, I think it is best that you visit Alice. Her familiarity with Orang will no doubt provide us invaluable insight. Besides, I know she is eager to see you as I was. Bring a smile to her face. Okay. And with that, that's where we're going to call it a night here with Final Fantasy 14. Let's take a look and see who's out there to raid. Let's see. Did Fizzy here recently? Um, let's go with Sakno. No, we've done Sakno recently. Let's do Rin, actually. We'll move over, go ahead and copy and paste this into the chat, if you would be so kind. I'd like to thank you all for joining us here this evening. We'll be back tomorrow night. We'll be returning back to Lost Odyssey unless something comes up with something else that people want to go do. Till then, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening.